Welcome back to the Developer Odyssey series. This is episode number 6. The title of this one is Narrowing Your Focus. If this is the first video in this series that you've seen, I highly recommend that you click the link down in the description. That'll take you to the playlist. And I recommend that you start from the beginning, but of course you can jump around and watch whatever videos interest you the most. So last time we talked about the different roles that are part of software development. And I mentioned that I was coming from the experience of more web application development. And so I want to talk today about narrowing our focus. Now, in this series, again, we're dealing a lot with my experience because I'm the one that's doing the series, right? So a lot of information is going to be limited to things that I have experienced or things that I have researched along the way, things that I am just familiar with because I've been doing this for over 15 years. So my experience, while it is fairly wide, certainly doesn't mean that I'm going to give you everything that could possibly be given to you when it comes to writing code as a job, being a software developer. My experience is basic websites. To start with, I spent some time building WordPress websites. I still do build some WordPress websites on the side for friends and family and things like that at times. So I definitely have a lot of experience with basic websites, building WordPress websites, building WordPress themes and plugins and things like that. But the bulk of my experience, and really the thing that I enjoy the most from a development aspect, is developing software, web-based software for people to use. I love building web applications because I like building something that is functional, that is built with web technologies, but is something that people are going to use. It's going to make their life better. So as we begin to talk more and more about what it looks like to be a developer and all the different things that I want to share in future videos, I want you to understand that I'm coming at it mostly from my experience as a web application developer. So there might be things that I say that may not apply to other types of development, but I think most people watching this are probably going to be looking to get into this type of development anyways. So I just wanted to make that clear that we're going to begin to narrow our focus a little bit when it comes to what exactly we're talking about when we talk about being a software developer. And in my opinion, we're talking about being a web application developer. Now, of course, that doesn't mean I'm not learning new things. I'm constantly learning new things, even in the development world. And so there might be some things that I bring in either to the channel as a whole in separate videos, or maybe part of this series along the way that may not be specifically for web application development. But I want you to understand that the focus is going to narrow down a little bit at this point. But not only that, I do want to kind of talk through a lot of the different types of software development opportunities out there so that you can decide how you want to narrow your focus. Because at some point you do have to decide, this is the path that I want to go down. Now, again, that doesn't have to be web application development, but even if you don't go down the web application development path, there's certainly a lot that will still apply to those other opportunities. But I don't want to just say, hey, I'm giving you all the information and then leave some stuff out. So today I want to just kind of walk through several of the different options that are out there for being a developer that are not necessarily website developers or web application developers. And again, I kind of found this list. This is not one that I came up with because I had to do some research here. So I'll probably read off a little bit of stuff here and there as we go. So forgive me for that. But I want you to kind of be informed so that you can say, hey, that sounds more interesting than maybe web app development or maybe mobile development or something like that. If something here piques your interest, then maybe you can go and research it some more. And hey, if something piques your interest, certainly leave a comment down in the video comments below and let me know if there's something that I say in here that maybe isn't part of web application development that you would be interested in learning more about. I might be able to add that to the channel in the days ahead. And of course, if you have questions about anything that I say today, certainly feel free to leave a comment there as well. All right, so what other types of development are there? Obviously, web application development is my niche. It's what I've been doing for many years now. So that's where we'll kind of focus in the days ahead. But what else is there? Well, probably the most obvious second thing going from web application development would be mobile application development. And of course, with mobile application development, we're talking about using your phone, right? We're talking about all those apps that are on your phone, whether you have a Android phone or an iPhone or a Windows phone or some other phone that they've come up with at this point. I don't know. There's probably some app store and you download those apps onto your phone and you use them for all kinds of different things. Well, it takes developers to create those. Now, there are some ways that web developers can kind of sort of create fake applications that using their web application software. But those are not necessarily the best applications. Usually you want somebody who is going to develop an application based on the languages for that different device. So you'd want somebody who's an Android developer or an iPhone developer or a Windows operating system developer or something like that. So those are very specialized skill sets, very specific types of developers. And that's just 3 of this one section called mobile application development. So that's another avenue that you could go down. You say, I don't want to deal with web app development, although mobile apps oftentimes do interact with web applications. They often go hand in hand. So that's why a lot of times you see web developers also being mobile app developers as well. So they do tend to kind of go hand in hand, but that is another option that could be kind of its own development job or career. Kind of following in the next vein with these different device types. Of course, we all have computers, probably most of us. If you're looking into becoming a developer, you probably have a computer of some sort, and we all have applications and tools that we use to write code or to watch this YouTube video with your browser, or all these other things that we do on our computers. We have applications there. Now, a lot of times you're seeing a little bit more of a shift now with some of these mobile app designs kind of being able to work on some computers and things like that, but there's still a desktop software development that needs to be done. So a lot of the programs that you use on your computer are developed by different software developers than people who are developing web applications or mobile applications. So what I'm calling desktop software applications would be another avenue of using code to be a developer. Another very popular one is game development. I'm sure there's probably some people watching this that really enjoy playing games, whether they're online or whether they're just on your computer, but some type of software game, some type of video game. There's probably many of you out there that enjoy playing those, and that's another job. There's lots of jobs out there for people developing those games. That's a totally different language. It's a totally different skill set in many ways, but it's also a lot of writing code to be able to do the things that you want your characters to do in that software, in that game. So game development, whether it's mobile game development or whether it's on your desktop or maybe on a console like Xbox or PlayStation or something like that. Game development is coding. It's another way to be a developer in this world, in this career. Of course, kind of meshing some of that stuff together, we've got virtual reality or augmented reality. And again, those kind of intertwine a little bit with gaming as well. So there's probably some crisscross between those different environments, those different career paths, but that's kind of another subset of programming that you might be interested in, or development that you might be interested in, that uses coding as well. Of course, all those other roles that we talked about last time, many of those apply to these development processes as well. There's also some very industry specific software. So because of the nature of private data, such as HIPAA regulations or financial information, education, these are different industries that oftentimes have very strict regulation. And so they need people who understand those regulations and who can develop within those constraints. So while they may be developing web applications or mobile applications or even games, maybe potentially, or desktop applications, while they may be using some of these other types of jobs, it's a little bit different when you're in some of these industries because the requirements can be much more stringent, can be much more costly if you don't meet them. So there's definitely maybe a little bit higher bar there in some of these other industries. And that's kind of another aspect to consider when you're thinking about what type of software developer you want to be. Do I want to be in a very heavily regulated environment? Sometimes that means you get paid more, but sometimes it just means it's more work and harder to do. Of course, there's cloud applications. So places like Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud Platform or Microsoft's, what is it called? Azure, Microsoft's Azure platform, all these different cloud applications. Somebody has to actually write the code to make those things work. They're just not magic up there in this magic cloud. They're actually on real servers, and real people write real software to make all those things work. So that's another way where you're not necessarily writing an app, but you kind of are writing an app, but it's for a specific industry. Again, it's kind of a DevOps type thing where you're writing code to help other people write code. You're writing applications to help other people write applications, to host applications, all kinds of infrastructure stuff and things like that. So that's kind of a whole other world of software development that you might be interested in and that you can use your skills in. And then of course, there's the big scary one right now, and that is artificial intelligence. Believe it or not, artificial intelligence is not magic. It does not have its own intelligence. We have to actually program it and teach it and train it to think a specific way. That's why you probably hear on the news here and there, or maybe on websites, about some AI bot that goes off the rails and starts talking poorly to people and threatening people and things like that. Well, it's because it got some bad training, right? Computers will always be, no matter how good we make them, they will always be slaves to how we train them. And so we need developers who are going to train them well. So we need developers, software developers, who are going to write code, build artificial intelligence the right way, the way that's going to be kind to people, not just in a chat scenario, but kind to people as far as like not stealing their information and selling it, things like that. So lots of different ways that you can use the things that you're going to learn as a software developer. There's lots of different industries. And even though we're going to focus on web application development because that's the industry that I'm in most of the time, you need to understand that there's lots of different avenues that you can take the things that you're learning and put them to good use and make good money and build a successful career in lots of different ways. It doesn't have to be just in the path that I've gone down. And honestly, I don't want you to just go down the same path I went down, because there's so much opportunity. There's so much need across the board in the industry. You need to design your journey. You need to design your odyssey, your adventure. And I just want to give you the tools, the information to help you do that successfully, to give you an idea of what's out there, things that might interest you more than maybe web application development does. Hey, if you're finding this information helpful, I would greatly appreciate it if you would click the like button. It tells YouTube to send this out to more people who are looking to get into software, just might need some guidance along the way. And of course, if you are not subscribed, certainly hit the subscribe button so you get notified the next time we upload another video in this series, or maybe just a standalone video as well. Hopefully you're enjoying this series so far and it's helpful to you, and you're looking forward to the next video, which I know I'm looking forward to recording in the days ahead as well. So I'll see you on the next one.